Well, I got up early, got a crew to lead. Setting up poles and ropes, that's a life for me. From a wedding to a fair, from the field to the town, I'm the one you call when you need a 10 up or down. I'm a 10 rental man, I'm working on.
We're back again with another episode of Under the Vinyl, a rental management media podcast. As always, I got my buddy Kyle here. Kyle, what's going on, man?
Nothing, Nate. How you doing?
I am currently staked out in my wife's office at the hospital. Well, she is in surgery right now, and it is not easy to find a quiet spot in this place, but I'm here, so we're good. It looks like you're a little bit remote as well. What's going on with you?
Yeah, I'm down in Hot Springs, Virginia, a town that no one has ever heard of because there's nothing here, except a really bougie resort. Really?
Yeah, I heard of it because, it was one of the jobs that it was a job that you bid against me on, right?
Here we go. That's
Should we go there?
Start with,
all right,
Nate?
Go ahead. I love it. It's Friday, baby. I'm 4 shots of espresso deep. I'm ready to go.
Okay. I might have bid against you on the job, but I gave you some money. I had you do the floor for me.
And for everybody that doesn't know, he didn't know he was actually bidding on it against me, so I'll give him that. But go ahead. What do you got going on? Tell us about it.
We got a 25 meter by 25 meter garden tent, all glass, up on TF 2100, like 4 feet in the air. So it's a nice job. I can't complain. There's been some challenges this week, but we worked through them. Thank God I got good friends in high places that can get me the stuff I need quickly.
And before Kyle throws me under the bus, I'll throw ourselves under the bus. Kyle had a few issues with the glass because we didn't send them back the correct parts from when we did a job and subrented some parts from him. So he's been kind of an ass here and there towards me on getting the parts back to him, but it wasn't all my fault. But we did get it back to him. We did get it taken care of. It's just part of the sub-rental game. Everybody screws up.
And I will say, the planner is geeking out over the fact that you have blue paint from that Titans wedding on some of the glass pieces. She thinks that's the coolest thing in the world.
Yeah, the problem with that is there was supposed to be no paint on that field at all whatsoever, so they tried to paint everything but the field. So, I'm sure that there's some blue paint even on our frame that has stuck to it because it was 1,000 degrees on that field, but anyways. But the job looked good. I've seen some good videos from the planner. It looks like she's really promoting it and just getting it out there for y'all. Has there been any struggles?
Yeah, I mean the site isn't ideal to get tractor trailers in, so that was the first big hurdle of the day, Monday morning. But luckily the guys I hired were really good drivers, and we put them in a golf cart and said, all right, figure out how you can get yourself in and out of here, and they kind of set up the route for every other driver. And then we've been having to use those push-around man lifts. We got 4 of them on site. We're lucky if 2 work every day. I've had the Sunbelt Tech here every single day this week, which is just a pain in the ass. But we got through. The job's pretty much done. They're hanging chandeliers right now, and that's all we got to do left.
Yeah. Well, I guess segue into the freight. So you said you hired the guys. Are you not using a broker? How are you guys doing that?
So we stopped using brokers this year for 90% of our loads. I was lucky enough that a broker had hired this trucking company for me last year. And the guy did hey, my number's right here on the truck door. And he's a local-ish guy to me. He's like an hour away. He's got 8 trucks. So I just call him direct. It's a little cheaper, but not really. But he's if I tell him to be there at 7, he's sitting there at 5:30 in the morning waiting for us. Kind of trucking company, which is what I like, because he understands I need to be here at a certain time and ready to go. Yeah. And he has really nice looking trucks. I don't know if anyone saw my story.
Kyle is a semi-geek, as we all know. And, they look good. They all look good. I will say that. But have you had to – so you brought everybody out. So you personally met all the drivers. So you didn't have to worry about some random guy showing up at 8:30 when you really needed them at 11:30, and everybody kind of knew the schedule and mapped it out. Yeah,
exactly. So the owner's one of the drivers. I laid out the schedule. This is what time I want this truck, and just have them keep rolling in like every 45 minutes. So he had it set up. They found a staging area down the road, and once one truck was half unloaded, he called the guy, said, "All right, start heading this way." So he's really been a great partner in making sure that everything works out efficiently and smoothly.
Are you paying more of a premium for that, or do you feel like it's pretty fair?
It's fair. It's in line with what a broker would charge you.
Okay.
And
Okay.
I feel better
So
because he's getting all the money. You know, the
Yeah.
broker's
Yeah. I
probably
mean,
taking 10,
and
15.
well, if the guy knows too that he's going to get reoccurring work, and you guys got a good relationship, then I mean, that's solid. I mean, it's like having an employee without having to full-time pay him.
Exactly.
Yeah, we kind of go through that a little bit, but it's like we did a big job. I had a job pop up kind of at the last minute right before vacation, and we had everything lined out, and we were in a foreign trade zone area, so everything had to be to schedule. And we lined out 5 trucks to come full of blocks, and the way it was supposed to be spaced out is, one truck comes in, next truck goes out. Well, I called our in-house logistics guy 7:30 that morning and said, "Hey, just want to make sure everybody's going to start showing up around 11:30 and roll through." He said, "Yeah, absolutely." So we get about an hour in, and it's about 8:30, and the first truck calls, "Hey, I'm here." Get about 8:35, next truck calls, "Hey, I'm here." And there's nothing you can do about it at that point because it's a broker, and you're just at the mercy of them. So we had to get a little hostile there with them because they don't like to follow any rules at all whatsoever. So we ended up sending them back down to the pilot and making them sit at the pilot gas station for about 4 hours because they screwed up, and then you got to deal back and forth with the brokers and everything else, which then becomes a pain in the ass. So I feel like anytime that you can get it direct, that's the way to go.
Yeah. And then I have a local guy who only runs day cabs, who we run in Jersey and Pennsylvania when we're at home. And he's the same way. He'll like drop trailers at our yard 2 or 3 days in advance so we can preload them for him, or drop them at the job sites and leave them there if we're taken down. So that, having good logistic partners really does make the world go round.
Do you guys have a full-time CDL driver, or is it just you when you can?
No, we have one guy, that's all he does. He doesn't install any tents, just CDL drives.
Okay, and then you just do it as a hobby?
Yeah, I barely drive now, honestly.
That's good. I'm glad you're delegating. I'm glad you're learning.
I'm trying.
Do you guys have any other big projects going on currently, or you got anything else coming up?
Next week we start some stuff for move-ins and like sports seasons for universities, and then all our local high schools the week after that go back, so we have their convocation ceremonies and all that stuff. So pole tent season's back. I'm happy.
Good, good. I've got a little bit of a scenario to throw out to you here, so and just kind of tell me what you would do. So we got this big job coming up that starts. We started it yesterday. It's the Music City GP, the IndyCar race in Nashville, and we have a guy. I'm gonna guess that he's not gonna hear this podcast, so I'll just throw him under the bus then. So he basically got a 15 meter by 30 meter last year, and it was to put some older Indy cars underneath, and this year, and then the customer actually paid for it last year. This guy individually has to pay for it this year. He was on my butt for 3 weeks. I need this, I need this, I need this, I need this. I got it to him, got them all done, got them all secured. He said this year he wanted 6 meter by 30 meter. We pulled the frame, got everything prepped and ready. He said it's going to be a go, no problem. I sent him over the quote, never heard anything back. He then told me it's still a go, it's still a go. Then Wednesday, the day before delivery, after it's already on a truck, I texted him and said, "Hey, just need to go ahead and get the payment up front right now. We're going to deliver tomorrow. We've got a bunch of stuff going on. We're obviously going to be out there for 2.5 weeks setting up, but yours is going to be on this next truck coming out tomorrow, and we're going to set yours early." "Okay, no problem. Can you send me over the bill?" Send him over the bill. "Hey, how much money do you need right now?" And I said, "Well, inside 30 days it's 50%, but you're getting delivery, so now it's 100%. So we need all the money now up front." "Well, you need all the money up front before the event?" "Absolutely." So we send it out. Guys go on site. Yesterday was Thursday we started, and I got an email. So when we send a quote out, it comes from our server email, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if they respond, it goes back to the server email, and then one of Deb, who's in our office, she will send it out to us. She sends me the email back. This guy didn't have the you-know-what to call me or text me, but he sent an email back to the server to say, hey, I won't need this tent anymore. Sorry for the miscommunication there. We'll reach out next year. So, my text back to him was, so then I went ahead and texted him, because obviously he didn't have it to go ahead and text me in the first place after going back and forth with me. And just told him, inside 30 days, it's 50%, non-refundable, 100% week of, and, for situations like this. And he said, I'm so sorry. There's just been so much back and forth with other parts of this, event. I'll use you guys next year, but this year I'm just going to go no tent. So, big picture is it's a big event. You don't want to piss people off. You want to play ball, obviously. But do you go after the guy and get the money, or do you just take it as it's a 6 meter by 30 meter? I mean, I have it a bunch of different scenarios, but I'd love to hear what you have to say about it.
He's not going to pay you. So
that's kind of my point.
That's I wish it was easy to go after people like that all the time, because I would love to do it. But,
yeah.
What you spend if you got lawyers involved, you're going to lose money on the whole gig most likely, either way.
Well, let's be honest, it was $7,000. It was $7,000 for his portion,
yes.
Which isn't, in the grand scheme of things, when you look at the whole picture on what the whole job is, and he's not actually connected to the actual customer. He's an individual. So, I'm trying to look at the big pictures. I still sent the frame up there, and the frame is sitting there, and we might have a last-minute vendor that might need it, so I might make the money up, is the way I see it. Or,
Did he sign
do
anything?
it cheaper. No, see, that's the problem. I sent that quote over and everything, and I just couldn't. He kept telling me yes, and then I couldn't get him nailed down. But he's done it with us for the past 2 years. He's got a tent, but come to find out, it was through the actual customer, and not him individually paying for it.
Yeah. So that once he realized that he actually had to pay for it, that's when his mind changed on it.
It's weird how that works. You got to actually spend
that's
money.
Crazy.
But it's just a labor thing for me at that point that pisses me off.
Well, yeah, I was talking to someone a few days ago about that. Even, subrentals. Obviously, we subrent back and forth, Nate, now a lot more than we ever have before. And I can't figure out, how to price things, because no one really thinks about how much labor goes into just prepping it, counting it when it comes back, all that stuff. You almost have the same amount of labor in it, whether it's going to you, Nate, or it's going out on a job for me. It's just I don't have to install it. So it's a matter of, we all need to really think about that. You can't, we'll use Dirt Track Floor for an example. Say you charge $2 a square foot to rent it. Well, if you're subrenting it, you still have all the time in loading it, pulling it, the exact same amount of time that would take you if you were doing it for your job or I was sending it to you. So, you couldn't discount it 70% just to send it to someone else.
No,
but you're not
look
going to
at
get your money back from that guy to load it and all that stuff, even though you should.
Yeah.
You should pay you that. Say it's $1,500.
Right. I mean, just the guys cleaning it in this time of the year, and you know what this time of the year is like, but just the guys cleaning it is hard in itself. But on the sub-rental portion, though, I would agree with, pricing. I think that most of us, between when you and I do sub-rentals, or Mike and Brian do sub-rentals back and forth, or even, like Lee the other day when I was talking with him, the conversation is always, where do you need to be?
Yep.
Where do you need me at? Which is great. In theory, that's a good conversation, and you can be totally honest. And because you guys understand it. You understand what goes into it, and you're not going to try and screw somebody over on it, and we can have that conversation. But you get some of these companies out here that are still charging you full price. I mean, there's one company that, we deal with that they charge us full price on things, and then they're like, hey, mark yours up. Okay, I get that, but you also need to pull your labor out of it, because a lot of the pricing in this industry is based with labor in it, and which I feel like is a whole nother conversation of, do we need to pull labor out of tent pricing? Do you just show the rental pricing or the labor? You don't think so?
So what I've noticed is 8 years ago, your statement's correct. Pre-COVID.
Yeah.
So 6 years ago. Post-COVID, a lot more people are charging additional labor fees, like we have.
Me too.
Does that mean I pulled the labor out of the price of the tent? Obviously not.
Right.
But I'm charging for the increase in what labor is costing me from 5 years ago to what it is today, because it's gone up exponentially. It's huge.
Or if you're getting a hired in crew, you gotta charge for the hired in crew, because you're not going to cover your labor cost that's already associated in that price without adding more labor if you're bringing in a hired crew.
Correct me if I'm wrong. The way you guys do your pricing and invoicing, all your labor is a separate line item, correct? I know you have usually it's a big number when I get prices for you to come do a 30 or 40 meter for me. Like your labor is completely not in the tent price?
No, it is. It is. So the labor is in the rental and tent price together. Now, if I'm doing like a 30 or 40 meter, our typical, what we call a typical crew, is 4 guys. 4 guys in a truck going somewhere. So if I'm doing a 30 meter, I need at least 6 guys, right? So, if I have to I usually get 2 to 3 more guys, we'll call it 7, 6 to 7 guys, and it could be 8, just depending on if you go up to a 40 meter. But the other 3 guys, I'm not typically bringing them from in-house, because if I have to bring another crew, not everybody has a license, so most of our supervisors all drive, right? All of our supervisors drive. So now if I have to bring another 3 guys in, now I'm pulling it from that other crew. So typically, if I'm going to supplement on like a normal crew, I'm hiring in 3 more guys from another company, a labor company, and not your run-of-the-mill labor company in your local town. It's tent labor, like we all have been using. And so that's when I have to put a bigger line item at the bottom to cover their hotel per diem, their travel, and the labor associated with their day rate. And so that's how I start pricing up labor a little bit. If it's our crew, I don't tend to add a line item for labor.
Really? Okay, so I didn't know that.
Yeah. I try and, obviously we try and be as fair as we can on the pricing there, and I think through just, cost breakdowns that we do on each job and the analysis on each job, we figured it in so we can make money on that. But you're relying a lot on the salespeople. At the end of the day, to see, we're basing it off working a 10-hour day, right? Okay, anything over a 10-hour day is now overtime. That price in that labor price associated in that tent cost with the rental, it doesn't add up then. It's not really accurate, so then you do need to start charging more. And I think everybody needs to look at that and charge for a 10-hour day and then put more labor on it, just so we can all across the board be, around the same thing. Not the same pricing everywhere, but
I look at it as like a lever you can pull. So, I know in the middle of September, for 4.5 weeks, from the middle of September through October, my guys are going to have 40 hours by Wednesday at 5 or 6 o'clock at night. So any job I book that week, I need to account for everyone's going to be on overtime. Right. So I can play with the labor number line item to adjust to make sure we're still profitable on the jobs that we're doing, but we're paying the guys overtime to do them no matter what.
Right. Right.
And in August, if I'm doing a project, that I can limit the guys' hours. I can say, you know what, you're going to have Tuesday off because we're going to have to work Saturday, things like that. So I can lower the labor number. So I use that kind of, instead of surge pricing, because I hate that word.
Dynamic pricing.
Dynamic pricing. I would rather just play with the labor number and to adjust for if I know we're going to have overtime or not have overtime that week.
Yeah, and I also use that a lot during, like you're saying, during busy time. So like coming up now, September to right around November, we're wide open. So it's now your labor gets higher in price. So if you book a last minute job from now until November, you're now getting charged that extra labor. Where before, if you would have booked that job earlier in the year, you're getting charged a normal labor rate, normal rental rate, normal pricing. But as we start to get into these busy times, and that's kind of where we started to add more labor. August, we're not charging any more for labor just because we know that, hey, we probably don't have a lot of work in August, so we can charge normal. We're going to have more crews available. But anytime in, let's say, April to the beginning of July, we're charging for extra labor if it's not on the schedule ahead of time, and same thing at the end of the year, from August until the end of August to November. You got to charge extra for labor.
Yeah, 100%. And some of it's the customer's fault because, like, I'm dealing with a music festival. We start install in 18 days.
Mm-hmm.
They have not given me a confirmed order yet. So I just keep telling the guy, well, I'm not giving you your quote until I have the list of what you want. And I'm just going to play with this labor number and say, okay, well, because you added all this stuff 18 days before, I have to increase the labor line item because I have to throw extra labor at this because we've booked other work in your spot.
When did you take that job, though?
I've been doing it for 3 years, and every year it gets later and later that they give me the answers.
What I would recommend, I'm not telling you how to run your business, but setting the expectation up front, is huge in this industry.
Yeah.
So what I have done on actually music festival, I got one in Nashville. It's the same way now. I put let's just call it $20,000, right? So I said, okay, your music festival is in August, right? But you don't know all the details and you don't have anything. I'm throwing $20,000 additional labor on this. And she's like, whoa, hang on, that's a lot. And I'm like, I get it. It is a lot. This is worst case scenario, though, because I don't want to come back to you if you start changing things, 2-3 weeks out. And I have to say, hey, now it's going to cost you $20,000 in labor because I got to hire in more people. And those timelines, as you know, are so screwy, and they change and they fluctuate. And you might have 10 days to set up, but now you got 3 days to take down. Well, I mean, that's $15,000 in labor of guys that you got to bring in. So what I've been doing is on those, putting worst case scenario labor on it. And then what I'll do is by the time we get ready to set it up right before, I can fix that labor number. So that way they know the worst case scenario, but they know it can go down. And it also, then it forces them, it puts the ball in their court because then they're like, oh shit, I got to get this done. I got to figure it out so that I can get this number knocked down and be more profitable because it's just taking more money out of their bank.
Yeah, it's wild to me to think that these music festivals are so disorganized. Like, you don't realize it. You go to one and you're like, oh my God, this place is so organized. They thought of everything. You don't realize behind the scenes how screwy they are, and they really have no clue what's happening until the night before.
Mm-hmm. Well, the other issue with the whole labor thing that you really got to think about too is, and this isn't bashing any of the labor guys out there because they're all great, you got to have somebody that controls them because they work on a 10-hour day, so their flat rate, let's call it $400 a day flat rate, right? After that 10 hours, they work on overtime. And it's every day that they work on overtime. So if you work 2 extra days or 2 hours that day, they're working on the overtime. So you have to, and they're not gonna stop working. So it's almost to the point where you're like, yeah, unless you tell them. But and that's where that can end up screwing you on the labor process. You can put that $20,000 in there, but you're accounting for a 10-hour day at $400 a day, right, per man.
Yeah. So
now you have to make sure somebody's out there managing and project managing these guys. Otherwise, now they're working 13, 14-hour days, and now you're billed $30,000. And now you thought you were going to make money by adding the labor on there, but you lost your ass again.
Yeah, exactly.
So, well, and going back to the subrental thing, I like the Duratrack thing. To me, that's like a 50% off deal. Yeah. You're getting let's say you're $2 a square foot, which is kind of low, but $1 that's your labor, $1 it is your rental, or vice versa. But I think if you're going to subrent to people like that, then you need to at least pull look at your labor cost and see what your labor cost is, pull the labor out of it, and just rent them what the actual item is. And a lot of people don't look at it that way, and I think it's shitty when people don't want to work together and come up with a price together and would rather just rent it for the same price. It's like, if it's sitting on the shelf, I mean, I get it if there's a demand for it, but if it's sitting on the shelf, let's play ball.
Yeah, 100%.
You guys do a lot of sub rentals?
All right. Yeah, only to you.
That's what I thought. And we can't, and we can't get yours back to have your sticker on it. So I apologize. We'll work on it.
I know.
But
yeah,
anyways.
Jesus. We've sent
Well,
three extra trucks up here this week from you.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna say that, but we're gonna go ahead and close this out now before you get too deep into that. But what do we got? We got Party Reflections coming up here in about a week. We're about a week out from Party Reflections coming up, so looking forward to getting there and seeing everybody. Get in there on the 27th, 28th. Should be some good stuff. We got some live shows coming, some good interviews, and yeah, really gonna push this back out. I think we got some big stuff coming after that, and rental management is really gonna dive in deep for us. So looking forward to it.
Yeah, everything's been working great. I'm excited about our new partnership, and still having fun with you, man.
And maybe by then we can get Kyle some good Wi-Fi and we can get this thing figured out. So.
Excuse me, sir. You didn't make the last podcast last week because of your Wi-Fi.
All right. Once again, we're cutting you off. All right. This has been another episode of Under the Vinyl. See you, buddy.
See ya. Talk to you soon.